Look, I think, most Americans and conservatives want to wish Joe Biden the best as he starts his 4-year term. And so I think there was a real hope that there would be some attempt at conciliation and unity, which is what he has been talking about. But there was a really sinister note in his inauguration speech, which he did speak quite a lot about unity, but he also spoke about this sort of new bogeyman of white supremacy and domestic terrorism, which is code on the left for Trump and his supporters. And, it really strikes a bad note, considering that we've spent probably 7 months last year with left-wing violence. If anyone is domestic terrorists in America, it's Antifa and those BLM Antifa protests where billions of dollars of damage was done, dozens of people were killed, and police and federal institutions were attacked. That is the very definition of domestic terrorism, and all we got from the Democrats throughout last year was condoning that and ignoring it or encouraging it. Kamala Harris, in fact, donated money to a fund to bail out some of these domestic terrorists, if we're going that way. So now suddenly, because a couple of hundred people stormed the Capitol, we are now looking at right-wing domestic terrorism and white supremacists, which is what the Democrats call Donald Trump, a white supremacist, the racist in chief. So it's pretty clear where they're going, and that's not a recipe for unity at all.
Yeah, so I think we're all concerned about this lack of unity, and there's been a lot of media coverage sort of indicating this as everything will be fine now. Essentially, do you expect a lot more violence in America? Is that what you're expecting, or is there a hope that can be quelled now?
No, I don't think so. I mean, we saw this overkill of 25,000 troops brought in, as a knee-jerk reaction to that Capitol riot on January 6th, which went on for a couple of hours. There was not a single protester arrested. And in fact, there's a real suspicion that Nancy Pelosi, the Democrat Speaker of the House, brought those troops in just as a photo opportunity for herself. And certainly as soon as they arrived, she was out there in front of the Capitol, standing in front of those troops, from the party that has been attacking the police, that has been pushing the defunding of police, that called Donald Trump a fascist when he wanted to bring in the National Guard to quell the violent Antifa riots outside the White House last year before the election, now to be embracing the National Guard. That was pretty ironic. And then you had the added insult, which was that as soon as the inauguration was done and the photo opportunities were done, those National Guard were thrown out of the Capitol and, sent to some cold parking lot nearby that had one toilet, apparently. And so now they've been brought back after there was an outcry. But as well as that, there was a Tennessee Democrat congressman called Steve Cohen who, in fact, described those 24,000 National Guard troops as a danger for President Biden during the inauguration, because he said most of them are white and male, and we know that white males did not vote for Biden, and so therefore you have to immediately suspect that these National Guards are going to be incipient political assassins. So that's the sort of disgusting attitude that we're getting from one side of politics towards the National Guard and towards anyone who might be possibly perceived as being a Trump supporter, maybe because they're white and male.
Miranda, just briefly, you've been a big supporter of Donald Trump and a sceptic around much of what Joe Biden has had to say. Do you concede, though, that the gloss has come off Trump on his way out just a bit in terms of how he handled his departure from office, the Capitol riot, etc.?
Oh, 100%. I mean, I've written that in my column for the last month, and so has the New York Post. We've been very vocal about telling Donald Trump to pack up his tent and give up. It was ridiculous that after losing the election, he had every right to pursue his fraud allegations through the courts, but every time they were knocked back. They did have an opportunity to air their case, and it came to nothing. And I thought it was outrageous to pin all hopes onto the Vice President, or then Vice President Mike Pence, who did his constitutional duty and was not able to and should not have overturned the election result. It was ridiculous, and I think it really did block the President's copybook at the end. But having said that, this impeachment is ridiculous. He's no longer in office. What's the point? It's just another one in the eye for Trump supporters.
Miranda, thanks so much for your time.